Hey, okay, so research paper. I know I'm not the clearest sometimes when I give these instructions, but I want you to share the film with the class. So, step one is you have to watch the film, maybe watch it a few times. So, I'm going to use for my example this film, Past Lives. It's my favorite film of the year. I watched it 4 times. I've been thinking about it a lot. I went out with a friend of mine Saturday night and he loved it. We talked about it a lot. Uh, but I don't when you're writing it, I don't care that much about secondary sources and bibliography. I usually don't really spend that much time looking at your bibliography page. Obviously, I don't want you to copy something. I want you to just watch a film, watch it with your eyes, think about it a little, and then share it with me and share it with the class. So the papers for me, the presentation is for the other people in the class. So the presentation is going to be a little leaner. Here are some basic ideas about the film. In my screenwriting class, usually I tell students, don't show the trailer, show me a scene. But some of you are going to have a hard time finding a scene on YouTube, but you might be able to find the trailer. So I think for this class, showing the trailer, the advertisement for the film, it's just fine. All right, so I love the movie Past Lives, but I'm not going to write that in a paper. Instead, what I might write is Past Lives explores the idea of love. The name of the film, Past Lives, um, comes from the Korean idea of love, which involves spending many, many past lives with a person that eventually uh, gives you all these things in common that enables you to have a strong marriage. So inyeon is this Korean word that means past lives. And if people get married, they might have had 8,000 past lives together that make them one person. It's different from the American idea of romantic love, where we believe in a soulmate. We believe that somebody is our perfect match. We believe in this idea of the one, that you meet someone and they're the perfect one, and there is only one that you're supposed to marry. And if you have a marriage that failed, I had a marriage that well, didn't last. It was a failure. And sometimes, well, he wasn't the one for you, people will say. So there are different ideas of love and what love means. And this film explores those ideas. It explores a Korean idea of love. It explores maybe a romantic idea of love, but there's a third idea of love in this film. And I think this is something that resonates with me. Again, in the paper, I don't want you to talk so much about I like this and this is what it means to me, but I would say in the film, it's about so when you're writing the paper, your first paragraph should just have the facts: what year it came out, the name of the director, who's in it, was it nominated for awards, and what country is it from. The next paragraph, if you want, you can summarize and encapsulate the plot. So this is about a woman whose name eventually is Nora Moon. She has a Korean name. Her family leaves Seoul, Korea, and goes to Canada. And then eventually she ends up in New York City, and she's a writer, she's a playwright. So these are facts that I'm summarizing from the film. I don't need to quote anybody on it because I saw the film. So then right before she leaves Seoul, Korea, her mother asks her if she wants to go on a date with this boy in her class that she likes. She says yes. The two of them go to the park, and the mothers are there in the park, and the kids are maybe 11, maybe 12. And they have a great day together, and they hold hands in the car. And then she moves away, and it's heartbreaking. And eventually they find each other. And the idea of past lives and inyeon makes you think in the film, are they saying that because they have this shared Korean identity, that they have all this stuff in common, that they belong together, that they're star-crossed lovers? But in fact, in the film, I don't want to ruin it for you, but I've seen it 4 times, and all 4 times I liked it. In fact, in the film, she meets another man. She meets a man in America. He's a writer like her. Uh, her friend in Korea is in Korea. And then he goes to China to learn Mandarin Chinese. And at one point, when they're talking on the internet, on Zoom or something, just like this, she says, well, why don't you come to America and learn English? And he said, well, better for my career right now, I'm one man. And then at one point she says to him, I don't think we should keep talking on Zoom. She said, I just moved to New York City and I spend all my time looking forward to talking to you, somebody in Seoul, Korea. I'm in New York City. I have to live this life that I'm in right now. And she turns off the computer and then she meets another man. So somewhere I read about this other idea of love, that there are three C's: chemistry, compatibility, and convenience. I think most people would hear the word convenience and think, oh my God, you can't base your whole life on convenience. But in this story, chemistry. Some people you meet, there's a spark. And the spark sometimes has something to do with how you express your gender. You know, somebody might be very masculine, somebody that might not be very masculine, somebody might be not very feminine. We have different things that we like and chemistry that we match in different ways. Um, so I say femininity and masculinity because when she describes the Korean boy that she had loved as a kid, when she's a kid, she says he's masculine. And as an adult, she says he's masculine. He's masculine in a very Korean way. And that kind of sparked something for her. The other man in America, maybe a little different. But there's a different chemistry. So compatibility, I get along with somebody. I can talk to them. Both of these men she has compatibility with. She likes both of them a lot. They get along well, and they can communicate. Different from the relationships are different, but the chemistry and the compatibility exist in both. But the third C of convenience, if I'm in New York and you're in Korea, it's not that convenient for us to be in a relationship. It's much more convenient to be with the person who's right here in New York City. So there's a kind of reality to this love story. And I think that's something that resonates with me. That maybe romantic love, maybe it's not as meaningful to me as a more scientific idea of what creates stable pair bonding, shall we say. It can be different ways of gender expression. So if I was writing about this film, I would give you the facts. It was nominated for awards and I should have won them. Number two, summarizing the plot. Number three, relating both stories to historic events. So both of this film can be tied to the Korean War. The Korean War was extremely disruptive in Korea. There's North and South to Korea. The country got cut in half. Many people emigrated. They lost ties with people back home. There's a strong sense in Korea right now that people should return to Korea and find their Korean roots. There's a lot of this in the film. So you think about factual information, plot information, meaning. If you want to talk about the meaning, what's meaningful, this is a film for me about love. I find love to be an incredibly perplexing subject. Of course, I love this kitty very much. And then finally, historical and social links to the film. Like, how is this film about war? How did colonialism, maybe colonial powers involved in Korea, actually influence these people falling in love in 50 years later? And they did. So that's really what I'm looking for in your paper. You can use some secondary sources. You're going to need some information to know about history if you're making a film, if you're watching a film from another country that you don't know about. So don't be afraid to look at some historical information. I find Wikipedia is helpful. Okay, so that's where we are. Okay, I'll see you tonight. Bye-bye.